All right, everybody, what is going on? Good afternoon. Hope you guys are doing better than I am. You probably are, and we have had some pretty big Seattle Seahawks news. I know this is a few hours old. I know that by some definition, I'm a little bit late here. I got some comments telling me that I'm a little bit behind on this one, but guys, when you feel like I do, all you really want to do is sleep. So when the announcement of this came out, I was asleep. And then I woke up and I saw it and I decided to sleep more because that's really all I want to do right now. But I do want to talk about this briefly, although there isn't necessarily a ton to say. The Seahawks sent out this tweet earlier today. The estate of Paul G. Allen begins sale process for the Seattle Seahawks. And I'm not going to go over everything said in this image, although there isn't really a lot to it. But basically, the team, the Seattle Seahawks, is in the process of being sold officially. And it's basically everything that we already knew about. All right, everybody, before we go any further into this video, I want to take a minute to tell you guys about the Sleeper app and some new functionality they've recently rolled out, Team Picks. With Team Picks, you can pick winners in all kinds of sporting events. Right now, we have NBA basketball, college basketball, NHL hockey is going on, baseball's going to start in a little more than a month, and of course, you have futures in the NFL, even though the games in the NFL are over. Right now, if you look to my left here, you can actually see you can bet on next year's Super Bowl winner. They've got the Seahawks leading the way in those odds, by the way, at 12%. How does that make you feel as a Seahawks fan? But you can bet on MVP, you can bet on draft picks, you can bet on player destinations, all kinds of fun stuff, even though the season is over. So that is Team Picks over on Sleeper. A lot of fun stuff you can do. The main interesting thing that comes out of this is that we now know that this is actually going to happen. There were some people who interpreted comments made by the Paul Allen estate and I don't know if it was exactly from Jody Allen, but people who represented the estate of Paul Allen as saying, "Oh, the team's not actually going to be sold," but I never believed that, and I think most people understood that they were just saying, "This is not something we wanna talk about right now until after the Super Bowl," not the report was false. So when we got the report week before the Super Bowl about how the team was going to be sold this offseason, I think most people knew that the report was true, and the issue was just the fact that it leaked earlier than the team wanted. But I know some people were holding out hope that maybe it would just be all made up and the team would be sticking around in the hands of the Allen estate. But it looks like things are going to proceed from here. Now, what is there to say about this? A few different things. Like for one, this should set the record. This sale should set the record for an NFL team by a lot. There are a lot of people who think this team is going to be sold for about $10 billion. And that would shatter the old record, which is around $7 million with the Commanders. So there's going to be a lot that goes into this sale. So if you're thinking that there's going to be some mid-level billionaire out there who's going to be able to buy the team on his own, that's not going to happen. You're either going to one of the big guns in the world, one of the guys who has ridiculous amounts of money, or you're going to an entity that represents a large collection of people. There's no way that one mid-level person like a John Stanton is going to be able to buy the Seattle Seahawks. That's just not going to happen. So everybody's going to have their names in mind. People are going to be talking about Jeff Bezos. People are going to be talking about Steve Ballmer. People are going to be talking about a bunch of people like that. The guys who have ridiculous amounts of money who could actually afford to put something like this together. But we will see who ends up emerging. There are going to be some names that we're not necessarily thinking about right now that are going to come forward. But at the same time, it also needs to be somebody that the league would approve of. Because remember, the owners vote on team when a team is sold, the owners vote, and a pretty significant majority of the owners have to approve the sale for it to actually go through. So for instance, if say I can't remember his name, but the Saudi prince tried to buy the Seattle Seahawks, I imagine that's a situation where the league would, or the other owners in the league would probably refuse to allow it to happen. There are probably a couple of other people who could try to buy it that the league would not approve of. So that has to be kept in mind as well. And I know I'm going to get comments asking about, oh, can the fans buy it like the Packers? And no, you can't do that anymore. They changed the rule. You can't have a publicly owned NFL franchise anymore. And even if you could, there's no way the public could afford it, right? When the Packers were sold to the public, they were worth a lot less, like not even close, not even on the same order of magnitude as the Seahawks are going to be worth this offseason. So go ahead and speculate on who you think the Seahawks should be sold to. Speculate on who you think is going to get involved. Speculate on the price. But they're saying it's going to be like 10 million. I did hear there was like some possibility of Jody Allen kind of selling the team to herself by some definition, which at this point I think a lot of people would be cool with, but I don't know how likely. Now, when it comes to the next owner, there's a couple of things, right? Number one, especially because of the way things are right now, the Seattle Seahawks, they need an owner that is going to be cool winning with somebody else's stuff. And there are going to be some people out there who aren't cool with that. They want full credit for what is happening with their team. So if the next owner comes in here and looks around and is like, man, this team just won the Super Bowl with Mike McDonald, with John Schneider, with Sam Darnold, with this guy and that guy and the other guy. If we win another Super Bowl in the next couple years, I'm winning it with Jody Allen's pieces. I'm not cool with that. Then we have a problem. Then we have a situation where he's going to be over eager to move off of the core of this championship team and try to implement his own core to prove that he or she can do it. I mean, that's a real fear here. Now, I don't think that's going to happen because it's too overt, right? The team is too good right now. You just won the Super Bowl. If a new owner comes in here and rips the team apart because, well, I want to build my own championship team, I think the fans would revolt, and I think most owners would know that. But I do wonder if you get somebody in here who isn't as attached to this core, do you potentially walk into a situation where if things get a little bit bumpy, he has a quick trigger finger? That's something that needs to really be avoided right now. So that's the main thing right now. And beyond that, we just need somebody who's going to be willing to sign the checks and somebody that cares. Now, right now, I think the bar you have to clear to prove that you care as a Seahawks owner is pretty low because the team is in great hands right now. John Schneider is the reigning best general manager in football. We have, as far as I'm concerned, the best coach in football. So you're not going to have to come in and do a lot. You're not going to have to come in and clean house. The way you prove that you care as a new owner is by showing up and not really changing anything except signing checks. And there are going to be checks to sign. And I don't know how long this process will take, but I think it was Curtis Allen on Twitter made the point that the Broncos went from being put up for sale to being officially sold within like it was like 6 or 7 months or something like that. It was very quick. So it's possible that if you buy this team in the next 6 or 7 months, you might be the person who has to pony up all the money for a Devin Witherspoon or a JSN or a Sam Darnold extension. So as long as you're willing to sign those checks and as long as you're willing to live with winning with what Jody Allen left behind, I think we're going to be cool. So that's really the main thing for me. I'm not going to be too picky on who it is beyond that. I don't have some I don't feel the need to wage ideological warfare over who the new owner is. I don't feel the need for it to be one person versus a conglomerate of people. I don't have a strong opinion there either. I just want it to be somebody who's going to do the right things at the right times. And the way you do that is by being proactive and being active while at the same time acknowledging that the team is in a great state right now and you don't really want to rock the boat. Until the boat needs to be rocked, there's no need to rock it. So we'll see what ends up happening. There's a chance this process is resolved by the time we're playing football again. I know I said that this process could take years, and it could, but again, you look at the Broncos. That process took less than a year. And if this process takes as long as the Broncos process, I believe that we will be officially sold, or at the very least, have everything approved before we play football again. Now, I don't know how this changes the offseason. I don't know if the team is going to be gun shy about giving out a lot of money this offseason because of the fact that the ownership is changing hands. I hope not, because we have a lot of cap space and we need to spend it on something. But we'll worry about that when we get to it. Certainly, Jody Allen and the Paul Allen estate has plenty of money to spend on stuff like that, and it's part and parcel of running a football team anyway, and I'm sure they understand that. All right, so the team is going to get sold. Is it going to take months or is it going to take a couple of years? That's what we don't know. One little footnote here, by the way, the Seahawks did hire a new running back coach and offensive assistant, basically kind of a replacement for Dennison, who left yesterday. Thomas Hammock, he was the head coach for Northern Illinois. He has been a running back coach in the league before, and he's expected to become the NFL's highest paid running back coach. So even amid a sale, we're attracting some pretty appealing talent and willing to sign some pretty big checks. So that's kind of interesting. That's kind of cool. I guess this guy kind of replaces Polamalu, and I think Outen is getting promoted to run game coordinator from run game specialist. So that kind of opened this up as well. And that is what we got. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks. We're getting sold. Let's just hope we find the right guy. All right. See y'all later.